Okay, so it seems like we're starting here. Um, so first of all, what is Zelda 2 Randomizer? We want to look for 2 or 3 things in the beginning. First, the items we do have. We have a bunch of items. We have like all the good items basically, but the boots. And the second thing we want to check out is how many gems we need to like set into the palaces. We have to complete 2 palaces because we have 2 gems. And the third thing is how many spells do we have? And we have a few of the spells. I don't know exactly which one we do have. I just saw we had 3 spells. It's kind of tricky, but yeah, the items we have is the candle, which helps us to see in the caves as of right now. We have the gloves, which help us complete basically most of the dungeons, and normally without the glove we can't complete the palaces, or most of the palaces. We have the how is it called? The raft. Without the raft, we can't go to the eastern continent. So that's also important, especially on higher gem seats. And we also do have, I believe, the hammer, but I'm not quite sure about that. I saw a 4th item. Yeah, the hammer. So the hammer will help us open some hammer block caves. So on the west continent, there are caves where you need the hammer because there's a rock in front of it. And those caves have always an item in it. So there are a bunch of things we are looking for in the overworld. First, obviously, cities and palaces. We just want to generally know where those cities and palaces are, because in some cities we still need the spell from, and thunder is sometimes required, and the other spells are basically quality of life things, like life helps you to survive longer, and shield does too. Reflect is needed to complete Palace 4, and for nothing else really. And Fairy or the magic key is needed to complete palaces, because randomizer Zelda 2 randomizers are set like keys and p bags, experience bags, are all randomized throughout the dungeons, and sometimes we don't get the keys, or we don't get the needed keys to complete the palaces, so the game expects from you to either have the fairy spell or the magic key before you enter a dungeon, logic wise. So yeah, we are looking for either the magic key or the fairy spell. And yeah, as Chad is already saying it, we got the boots. So basically we have now all the good items. The boots are allowing us to walk on water, and sometimes the boots are required to get to certain areas of the continent. You know, the continent or the entire overworld is obviously randomized in this game too. So sometimes we need to walk over water to reach certain areas of the continent, because how the world layout is set out. So we have now all the good things, and these players are basically now looking for 2 easy palaces to complete. Schmidtty J on the right is about to find one, and it is Palace 3 or 6. If this is Palace 3, I would just jump in, and if this is Palace 6, it's a little bit longer, but better you get a palace finish before you never mind. He just decides, okay, this is Palace 6, I don't want to mess with this, so he's looking for an easier palace to finish, because Palace 6 is quite long, or one of the longer palaces, so he wants to find an easier palace. And the last thing we want to find, besides 2 easy palaces, is we want to find Great Palace, because Great Palace is obviously the last thing we need to complete in these randomizers, and we need to find it in order to complete the game. Also, one thing our trackers have right now, how many gems? 2 gems. 2 gems, so 2 palaces needed to complete. Our trackers also saw that they have Thunder Spell, which I didn't saw, because, you know, it's kind of hard to see all of that. So we basically have everything we need. We also have Fairy. So yeah, as long as the players have enough magic to go through key doors in the overworld, we are good enough. Jackimus is in a palace. Is that the same palace as Schmidtty J went into? Because I didn't see it. But yeah, Schmidtty found the flute, so he has basically access to everything on the East continent as well now. The flute is important for 2 things. first for hidden palace. Sometimes the palace or one of the palaces on the east continent is hidden and you need the flute to access it. That might be required if the hidden palace is Great Palace. And the flute is also needed to get rid of the River Devil. I think that's his official name. You need to get rid of River Devil sometimes if you need to access a specific area. But with boots and with the fact that you can walk through caves in order to access new areas sometimes, the River Devil or getting rid of River Devil is not always required, but can be nice and handy in order to walk easier on the overworld. Jackimus has a few streaming issues, so I'm really sorry for that, everybody. So we just focus on Schmidtty Games. I don't know exactly what he's looking for here. He found Mido, but they already have downstab, and they don't have a spell item. So in some cities, you need a specific item before you can get the spell. This is the kit, the medicine, and the trophy. And the cities in which you need these is Ruto, Mido, and Darunia. All very easy to, see, or, to see the differences between the cities. Once you play the randomizer a few times, you will see in which city they are. But I can tell you about this once they enter a city. Okay, so Schmidtty Games is now using the backside of Saria, which is a town that has two entrances, a backside and a front side. And in order to get access to the other side, you need to cross the bridge. And in order to cross the bridge, you either need the ferry spell, you can just fly over it, or you need to find Bagu, who is in a random forest tile on the west continent. And once you found Bagu, you can always open the bridge, and with that you can reach new areas on the continent. Meanwhile, Jackimus is exploring, I believe, the southern part of the map, and now Schmidtty Games got probably to the northern part of the map, so he can explore new areas of this west continent. He wants to dive into that. Oh, there's Great Palace. So Great Palace is on the south, on the north, probably the north of this continent. So that's really good. So they basically now need two quick palaces. They could just dive into the two other palaces that are on this continent, finish those, and go right into Great Palace. They don't even need East Continent. That's like... Oh, Jack is on the East Continent? I didn't see that. And Schmidtty found the fifth palace. So all the late game palaces, the longest palaces, the palaces people like me who are worse at this game than others don't like to complete, are on the west side. So if you are a beginner, I don't know how good these players are, but if you are a beginner, you don't like to see this, because Palace 5 and Palace 6 can be a problem to complete because of their bosses or because they are so long. So okay. Great. Thank you for that information, man. Okay, so Schmidtty Games, he knows everything he needs to know, and the fact that he is not going into palaces right now tells me, or yes, it somewhat tells me that he is probably not confident enough to just dive into Palace 5 and Palace 6. To be honest, with his current strength level, level 2, the bosses of Palace 6 and Palace 5 take ages for the most part, depending on how randomized their HP is. But I once fought the Palace 5 boss and the Palace 6 boss with like only 4 attack, and it was like an endless fight. And Jackimus is now entering Palace 1, as Trials is already mentioning it out in the chat, so thank you, Trials, for keeping it a little bit more entertaining here. So that's basically the shortest and the easiest palace, with probably Palace 3 and Palace 4, I would personally say. And yeah, Jackimus just wants to complete the palaces as quickly as possible, obviously. So yeah. And Schmidtty is also now on the East Continent. So both players going for the East Continent play to get quick palaces to complete. Might be a smart play here. Jackimus is now a little bit ahead because he's already in Palace 1, so he doesn't need, you know, that much to... Like, he is already a little bit ahead. Schmidtty first needs to find a quick palace and then, you know, complete it in order to catch up for Jackimus. Yeah, Palace 1 and Palace 3 are the smartest choices. Yeah, Palace 4 doesn't make sense because they don't have Reflect. You're right. And Palace 4 is also a little bit longer, but I just like to dive into Palace 4 if I have Reflect, because then I don't have to worry about a difficult boss fight, if you are not used to boss fights, though. Meanwhile, Schmidtty is just, you know, keeps exploring the overworld and going for these item tiles. Like, he's now in an item cave just to get an item out of it. I don't know why he wants to get an item. Like, a spell item is not really required, to be honest. Maybe he wants to find life, and yeah. I don't know why he's diving into these item caves. It doesn't really make sense. And also a weird thing, which I don't get, is I would like to see some levels from Jackimus, like the HP and MP level he has, but I totally cannot see it on the stream, or on my side of the stream. I don't know how is this for you. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, magic can be nice. Yeah, actually, I forgot about that. Magic can be nice. Yeah, that's one interesting idea why you should go for magic containers. Because if Thunderbird is required, you need at least a certain amount of magic in order to cast it, the Thunder spell. And sometimes your magic level is too low to cast it right off the bat. So sometimes you need to collect at least one magic container before you can complete Great Palace. Or you need like a lot of magic level ups, and your magic level ups need to be good. One gem down for Jack. His stream is off for me. I don't know what's happening there. And Schmidtty just found the desert item tile. And yeah, there we are, Jackimus. Yeah, I just see how he finished the palace. So he's ahead now. To be honest, Great Palace can still, you know, decides a lot how this race goes. Just because Palace 1 can sometimes be very nice to you and sometimes be very mean to you. Sometimes it can be the most confusing and the most evilish palace you will ever face, and there is a lot that can be decided in Great Palace. So I wouldn't call Schmidtty Games out yet, but he needs to find a palace quickly because he's still searching for a good and easy palace. He just found the Palace 4, which he immediately leaves, and right now he is in Naburo, which is one of these cities where you get a free spell from, I want to say. Because you just have to go to this fountain here in the town and get some water, give it the lady, and now you get a free easy spell. So that's what he's doing. He just wants to have a spell for the sake of having a new spell. You know nothing. That's not official. Like, that's not official text. I didn't even see what spell he got. That's how quickly he mashed it out. But he got a spell. So I don't know. It's still, like, how fluent or how stable is the stream for your side, chat, from Jack? Because for me, it's like consistently buffering and loading. But Jack warned us beforehand that his stream is currently running some issues, and yeah, he probably can't do anything about it, which is, you know, obviously fine. Sometimes the internet is not nice to you, and your connection to the internet is a problem. So Schmidtty just found the water tile where the cross is. The cross, basically, the only thing it does is you see invisible enemies on some encounters, and Old Kasuto, the enemies are invisible, and it's nice to see them, but basically it's useless. Like, even if you see the enemies, you still get hit by them. Oh, Jack just found the hidden palace and Death Valley. So there is a hidden palace on the East Continent, and obviously there's Death Valley. So he has access to 2 other palaces right now. Was he already on Maze Island? Was Palace 1 on Maze Island? Yeah, I saw him being on Maze Island, if I'm not confusing, or if I'm not wrong. Yeah, he doesn't have the flute. He doesn't have the flute. But he has... Yeah, you're right. I shouldn't have said that. He doesn't have the flute because he was not exploring the overworld as much as Schmidtty was. But the thing is, he is diving into a palace right now, so I believe he either found Palace 2 or Palace 3 in Death Valley. Or in the Hidden Palace? It's Palace 2? Okay, I didn't see it because it lags so much. Oh yeah, there we see the boss. So he's now fighting Palace 2 boss. This is Death Valley, nice. Okay, Schmidtty just found Maze Island. Maze Island is a great place for item search. We have all items, so it's a great place to find a free dungeon. Yeah, that was the fastest Palace 2 I've ever seen, to be honest. Like, even through the lag, he entered it, and the next lag gap, he was already at the boss, so I imagine this was like a really, really small palace. And Schmidtty just found on Maze Island Palace 1, which I earlier said Maze Island has probably Palace 1. And yeah, Jack, the only thing he has to do is save and quit and go to Great Palace. The thing is, does he know where Great Palace is? Because I know Schmidtty Games knows where Great Palace is, but I'm not sure if Jack knows where Great Palace is. So yeah, for everybody who's not aware of it right now, Jack basically can complete the game now. He needs a Great Palace, and that's it. So that's a really, really short seed though. Like, we got everything from the beginning to finish the game, basically. And Schmidtty is 2 palaces behind because he just entered Palace 1, and he hasn't found yet either Palace 2 or Palace 3. And because we know Death Valley holds Palace 2, we also know that Hidden Palace is Palace 3, so eventually Schmidtty enters Palace 3 because he thinks Palace 3 is fast and easier, but apparently we already know Palace 2 is like godlike in terms of RNG and is extremely free, so he might end up losing time going for Palace 3 instead of Palace 2, to be honest. Yeah, Jack is about to finish the seed because he just finished both palaces already. Both palaces he needs to finish. Meanwhile, Schmidtty just found the item room of this palace. No, not the item room. The item room in this palace is a right entrance, not a left entrance. Never mind. I just talked bad thing, or not bad things, but wrong information. Don't always listen to me. Yeah, Jack is on the west. I know. He probably immediately saved and quit after he finished 2 palaces. So he's now just looking for Great Palace because he knows Great Palace has to be on this side, or he assumes Great Palace has to be on this side because he hasn't really explored this side, as far as I know. Schmidtty, meanwhile, is just on the boss, on Horsehead, the boss of Palace 1. He uses the jump strat with downstab to finish him off quickly, and there he goes. Just finished the boss, but he needs to catch up quickly. Horsehead just giving 30 XP is like really bad. I've never seen Horsehead just giving 30 XP. And Jackimus is just entering Great Palace. And Schmidtty, unfortunately, because he didn't get a level up yet, he's walking back in Palace 1 because he wants to find 40 more XP because he wants to get 2 level ups out of this palace. Which theoretically is a smart play, but you want to play for time and not for XP, even though you need some better levels, at least attack levels and HP levels for Thunderbird if he's required. Because believe me or not, but Thunderbird with attack 4 or lower and low HP, to be honest, these players don't have low HP, but Thunderbird with low attack is and low HP is really a brutal thing. Meanwhile, Jack, I just saw in the lag gap was going down a drop down, so he's now looking for Yeah, he's just... So basically, before we go into more detail here, the Great Palace strategy is you walk to the right as long as you can, and as soon as you no longer have an option that goes to the right, you probably want to check out a walkway to the left. Because the chances, like the boss room, both Thunderbird and Darkling can only be entered from the left. So you want to go through the right as much as possible, because that gives you the highest chances to find the boss room, theoretically speaking. So yeah, that's what Jack is doing here. He just found a drop down and he keeps holding right as much as possible to finish this seed out as quickly as possible. But as I said, Great Palace can be a maze and be a very brutal place. Great Palace has so many items and so many rooms and so many troll things, I want to say, or so many difficult rooms and drops and loops. If you are not aware of how Great Palace can be played out, if you don't have the experience of how trolly Great Palace can be, you can get really screwed in it. And on Schmidty's screen, we just saw how short this Palace 2 is. It was basically 3 rooms long, 2 rooms long, and Jackimus is on the Thunderbird fight. He's already on 1 square of HP, but he has attack 5, which is a huge advantage over Schmidty, who just will have attack 4. So, but yeah, if this is Thunderbird blocked, which it might be, then it comes down to who can finish this Thunderbird quicker. Thunderbird can be a huge problem, can be, yeah, what else to say? For more experienced players, I don't think he's that much of a problem, but even for more experienced players, he can be a problem with bad levels. Attack 5 is not the worst level, but it can be a very, very bad level. Yeah, he can cast Thunder, but he can't cast anything else, and that's the advantage Schmidty has over Jack. Because Schmidty can cast Thunder and then Shield or Life if he has one of those, or Reflect. I don't know which spells exactly he has, but if he has Shield, I would highly recommend him to go for Shield. Yeah, if he has Shield, then he should go for Shield. And just beat Thunderbird. Even though attack 4 is very, very daunting, he needs a lot of hits on it. I believe in him, he's capable of it. Like, if I can complete Thunderbird with level 4, 1 hit KO, then Schmidty can probably beat him with attack 2 and this life bar. And he has attack 4, so he's very well prepared for this Thunderbird. If this is Thunderbird block. That's another thing in Max Rando. I haven't explained that at all yet, but we are playing on Max Rando. So what does this mean? It means everything is randomized, as much as it can be randomized. So it is randomized if Thunderbird is actually in Great Palace, and it's also randomized if Thunderbird is required. So sometimes Thunderbird is somewhere in Great Palace, but in order to get to Dark Link, you don't have to beat Thunderbird. So I already see Schmidty is probably going another direction than Jack is going, because Jack probably went through the drop down on the bridge. I'm not sure. No, I think they are on the same path, to be honest. So close though. I didn't see it. Like, for me, Jack is still like buffering a lot, so I don't know how close this fight is. But yeah, Schmidty also following the same rules as I earlier explained. Thunderbird is like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's random if he is required, and it's random if he's actually in the palace. So yeah, it's really difficult to explain how exactly the odds are. Like, I don't think any of us could explain the odds of how high the chances of Thunderbird actually being a thing are. But yeah. Yeah, Jack just killed Thunderbird with still full HP. Same as Jack? Okay. As I said, for me it's probably buffering more than it is for you, so I can't really tell. Jack is now going to the left, so basically that's a bad thing, but he will soon see an elevator, and elevators are the nicest thing you can see in a randomizer. Schmidtty, meanwhile, is going down the deepest elevator in the elevator world. Now he's in the troll boss room. I think that's the official name. To be honest, I'm very new to the Zelda 2 randomizer community. So I don't know the terminologies of every room. But I believe that was the troll boss room. So yeah, Schmidtty is still searching for anything in this palace. Jack at least has finished Thunderbird, so he has that out of his way. Schmidtty just found a dead end, so he has to look for something else. Jack is meanwhile cornered by a bird, a phoenix, I don't know his name, and a bird guard. I really don't know these enemy names, but he just saves and quit. So basically they are at the same point right now. But Jack has the advantage that he got rid of Thunderbird, which is probably not required. Oh, I see. That really sucks. But no, sometimes you guys react to things I cannot react to because they are not loaded for my stream. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just wrong. But that's how it feels for me on the stream side. So Schmidtty just went the drop down on the bridge. And he is at the same area as he was before. Are there 2 troll boss rooms or is there only one? Because as far as I experienced, there's only one drop down room or one troll boss room. But maybe some of you can correct me on this. And okay, he just found Dark Link, so even though he was behind a ton, Dark Link was actually not too far away. Wow. You just need to go to the bridge drop down and go down the elevator in the next room and you were in Troll Boss room. And there's Dark Link. That was a short Great Palace, so unfortunate for Jack. I told you earlier, Jack was 2 palaces ahead. But in Great Palace, everything can happen and will happen. And even though he defeated Thunderbird, Schmidtty just got ahead and found Darkling first. So very unfortunate for Jack. But well earned by Schmidtty, who just, you know, was fortunate enough to find Darkling so quickly. So yeah, GG's to Schmidtty Games and Jack, who is still like looking for finishing his palace. I don't know if we can assign some sort of interview. I don't know about that. Cool. Really cool. Okay, then I can talk with him a bunch of questions. There's an interview thingy. Cool. Yeah, I know there's an interview thingy, like also in these tournaments. But yeah. I was just not knowing that much, you know. That's my first time commentating. But yeah, GG's to Schmidtty. Even though he went for so many things in the first place, he still got ahead. So that's, you know, he got lucky in Great Palace, and also lucky for the fact that Jack didn't go the way he went, because Darkling was not that far away from the beginning. Like, you just the drop down bridge, that's just how I call it, was like a very, very common or a very early thing in Great Palace. And then he just went that drop down, and that was the way to Darklink, like only 3 or 4 rooms away from that. So that's like really, really fortunate for him. Sometimes, like, this was a very quick Great Palace, even though Jack is still, you know, trying and searching for the right way. He just found the dead end Schmidtty just found earlier, I believe. I'm still waiting for for Schmidtty. Oh, and thank you, Trials. I try my best. I'm used to commentate, but I'm not so used to commentate at Zelda 2 randomizers. Like, I commentate a bunch of other things in my life, or I commentated a bunch of other things in my life. And also, one thing, or a few things I want to say here before we go into this interview. First of all, thank you to the 2 trackers. You can, I believe, !T in the chat. we need those people, and those people actually helped us out, even though they don't know about this game. So that's really, really cool from them. And also thank you to Zelda Speedruns for restreaming our tournament. We are a small community, but it's like very fortunate for us to have them. And now Schmidtty joined us on the stream. So hello Schmidtty, how are you feeling about this seed? I don't know if he can hear me or if he has to set up something with the microphone, but he's right here.
I have push to talk on, my bad.
Okay, cool. But yeah, did you hear me? How do you feel about that seed, man?
I thought I did too many things. When I found the kid, I was like, what am I doing still digging caves? I started with everything.
We are a small community. Yeah, you start. Like, yeah, that's actually one thing I mentioned now, in the stream a few times. Like, so hello, Schmidtty. Even though Jack was seed. Yo, thank you for the info. I don't know if you can hear me. Before you like went into your first palace, right here. Like Jack was basically done with his 2 palaces already. Cool. So yeah, he was basically a lot ahead of you, but he was not fortunate enough to find the Dark Link so quickly as you did in Great Palace. He actually fought Thunderbird a few times and beat him, so that's where he lost his time compared to you.
Oh man.
And also, yeah,
I will pretty much always dig the Western continent for at least 1 magic container, even if I can afford to cast it in case Thunderbird is required, because, you know, attack 3 Thunderbird is brutal.
Yeah, it is. It totally is. I know that feeling.
But I had the feeling that I had dug too much. I mean, there was really no reason for me to keep digging, especially on the Eastern continent.
Yeah, on the Eastern you totally went a little too far, I would also agree. But I mean, you still won. You got all the good things, basically. Like, even though they were not required. But you got some more magic, you got also shield. I don't know if Jack got it. So, yeah. I mean, but yeah, that was quite a funny seed, because, you know, everything was right accessed from the beginning. And Jack is also here now. Hey Jack, how are you doing? How are you feeling about that seed joining us on the interview here?
That was a pretty fast one.
Yeah, it was a pretty fast one. It's like every time we get the chance to get a restream on Zelda speedrun, either on the weekly on these tournaments, we always get fast seeds apparently.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it was a 2-gemmer, so it was going to be pretty quick. There was maybe some concern about items, but you started with the glove and the raft, so those are some of the huger ones.
Yeah, and you got also the boots really early.
Yeah, the boots, don't know if those were required or not, but they sure made getting around a lot easier.
Yeah, they help you out to move on the overworld a lot quicker and a lot more confident or comfortable.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, you two basically went the same route in terms of completing dungeons. You just had, like, Jack had the unfortunately that he fought Thunderbird and didn't find the fast way to Dark Link, who was like actually not too far away from the entrance after we
I saw that afterwards. And I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
it was so unfortunate.
But that's just how she goes. To be honest, whenever I found the Thunderbird room, I kind of forgot that Thunderbird was just like randomly required in the settings. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going the right way. So I fought him, and I haven't played this in a while, so I was a little rusty, but I pulled it off with what felt like an effective attack 3. The attack stat was pretty garbage in this one. But it's like, all right, cool. Beat Thunderbird. Feel good about that, at least.
Yeah, I mean, you had a lot of life, but yeah, your attack level is always a problem. On these lower on these lower gem seats, you don't get these many level ups.
It can be. I got to 5. 5's usually a reasonable attack level.
Yeah,
but,
5 is reasonable, but Schmidtty only had 4, for example.
Oh yeah. But I don't even think there was a difference between attack 4 and attack 5. Like it felt like you had attack 3 from attack 3 and the next 2 levels, which can happen. So yeah, like Thunderbird took at least 30 shots for me to not put it out. So
yeah, that's very long, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you were really, really ahead, though. That was so unfortunate for you that you didn't find Darkling. Like, you finished your 2 palaces before Schmidtty finished his first. So that's how far you were ahead of him. So
that's just how it goes. I mean, it's a randomizer.
I said it in the beginning. Even though you are ahead in palaces, Great Palace can be a maze, it can be free. There can anything can happen in there, and anything happened basically in today's race already. So yeah.
Yeah, Great Palace has 70 some rooms, I think. So depending on the combination, right? It's in this case, it was the difference between going right and going down, I guess. But you know, you can't feel too bad about that. It was fun, right? You know, I'm glad to be playing these again. So I don't know the format for this tournament. Is it single elimination? Like, am I done already?
We have as far as I know, we have a Swiss round, so you will have at least 3 or 4 opponents in the beginning.
Oh, badass! All right, I get to play even more. That's great.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
5 rounds, Trials are saying in the chat, and then we have a elimination bracket. I don't know, single or double, with like the best players.
All right, cool beans. Well, when I
that's
lose,
really
I get
cool.
to play some more, so that works out just fine for me. Congratulations on your victory, Schmidtty.
Yeah, congrats on you, man.
I really felt like I had dug too much and I was going to lose, but I kind of lucked out with the Eon drop on that one.
Is there anything else you wanna mention here, or can we just finish off this first race of the tournament?
Let's go, Bruins!
Okay.
So good luck to everyone in the tournament. It should be a fun time.
Yeah, good luck. Randomizer are brutal, but they are also a ton of fun. So yeah, thank you everybody for watching this race. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed my commentary and these 2 players playing. Thank you again, Zelda Speedruns, for the restream, and see you all soon, hopefully. Bye!